Alright, Matt, pay attention. Because today, we cooking some Cornish game hens. Now, those might sound nice and exotic, but really all a Cornish game hen is a little chicken. It's a little breed of chicken from England that kind of sucks at making eggs. So what they do is they raise them for their meat, and they're quite plump little birds, and they give you this very succulent taste if you grill them right. If you grill them right, Matt. So what we're going to be doing today is a fun little way of cooking a bird, and we're going to spatchcock them. And the way that you do that is you take a pair of kitchen shears, like these, and what you're going to do is you're going to take your bird, and you're going to find this piece right here. This is his tailbone. This is where his little tail wiggles off of. And you're going to take those shears, and right next to that, where that tailbone is, you're going to snip him. And you can kind of feel his backbone run from his tail on up. You're just going to go along the side of that backbone. And you might have to, depending on how hardy a bird you're dealing with, you might have to give it some elbow grease to get through some of the ribs and everything, but usually it cuts through okay. Then you're going to go back down to the tailbone, and right there on the other side, you're just going to snip him. And I'm doing this left-handed, so let's see if I can do it without cutting my finger off. On this episode, we go to the emergency room. And yeah, you're just going to snip it right through. Now, some folks keep this bit to make chicken stock out of, but we're not going to do that for two reasons. Number one, we don't need chicken stock right now. Number two, I don't really know how to do that. So, if I ever learn, I'll teach you. Let me bring our garbage a little closer. There we go. Okay. Now, when you're buying these, you can buy them in pairs very often, but I will warn you, sometimes you get a situation like this where one bird ain't quite the size of the other bird. So after you've done this, the next thing we're going to do is take our trusty knife. Right here where his, I guess that would be his sternum is, we're just going to give him a little slice. Not too dramatic. We're not trying to cut the bird in half. In fact, what we're going to do next is we're going to turn him over so that we can see his little elbows, or his little chicken hands. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold him out like this and push him down, and you're going to hear a little bit of pop. That's that sternum going ahead and separating. See where it's separated? Right there. All right. And now, well, we're going to trim some of the excess. Apparently, I didn't see that it folded under on me. We don't need that. Now what we're going to do, and this is just something I do. You don't have to do it. It's more a presentation thing than anything else. But we're going to take his little wing tips, you know, and we're going to tuck them right under his breast right there. That don't do much. I just kind of like the way it looks. Gives you a nice square look, I guess. And now you spatchcocked one bird. So we're going to spatchcock this next one, and then we're going to get to seasoning. Hey, sorry about that camera angle. But here's what we've done. We have gone ahead and spatchcocked this other smaller bird. So now what we're going to do is we're going to drizzle them with a little bit of olive oil. Just a little bit. Just kind of get that on the bird. And give him one more massage before we put him on a hot-ass grill. And once we got that oil rubbed on them, we're going to start spicing them. We're going to spice them up. So the first thing we're going to hit them with is a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Yep. Just making sure it was coming out and not clumping up on me. And we kind of eyeballing this. I'm not going to give you exact measurements. Do it to your liking. Some fresh ground black peppercorn. All right. We're going to hit him next with some onion powder. Just a little bit. Or excuse me, garlic powder. This is the garlic powder. This ain't the onion powder. Scratch that. This is the garlic powder. Shoot. This is the onion powder. We're going to hit him with some of this, but not quite as much as the garlic. Not quite as much as the garlic. You kind of want a good garlic to onion powder ratio in favor of the garlic. The next thing we're going to do is put some paprika on there. Now, I kind of like paprika, so I kind of give him a healthy dose. Just to kind of turn him a nice pretty shade of whatever color that is. Scarlet? What is that? What color is paprika, Matt? I guess it's just red. I don't know. I don't know what it's made out of. I'd assume some kind of pepper. I'd be interested to see what color the plant they get it from is. Anyway, I guess it's a reddish brown, kind of a rusty color. But anyway, I like it, so I'm going to put plenty on, make sure I didn't miss any spots. Oh, and I missed a spot. Look at that. Got him. Okay. Once we've done that, we're going to take some hot Mexican style chili powder. Now, I don't want to overdo it on this because I ain't going for super duper hot. I'm just going to give him enough pepper in the four corners, you know. Breasts, thighs, a little bit on his drumstick, a little bit on his wings. Perfect. All right, now they're all seasoned up. What we're going to do is we're going to flip them over, give them the same treatment on the underside. That might not be super necessary because most of our meat is on this side when you spatchcock them, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it. All right. I'll check back in with you in just a minute. Okay, Matt, it's about 40 degrees and raining up here in beautiful upstate New York. So we're going to go and we're going to start as always by cleaning our grill off. So we're going to cut the juice on to the burners. For this recipe, we're going to be cooking over an indirect high heat. We're going to give them the fire. Lights up every time because it's Weber. We're going to let that needle climb. We're going to brush it off. We're going to put the heat to it. Wait till it's about 450 to 500 degrees. Then we're going to cut this burner off. And what's going to happen is that heat coming from this burner is going to circulate around and around in here, giving us this nice, you know, heat retention. But there's going to be no actual flame under this side. That's where we're going to cook our chickens. All right, that's where the cooking is going to take place. It's indirect heat. The heat source is over here. It's almost like cooking them, well, I guess not really like an oven. But in any case, what we're going to do is we're going to warm this up until all that gunk gets nice and cleared up. I wasn't good about cleaning it off like I should have been. Then we're going to heat it up on over to about 450 degrees, which will take us about 10-15 minutes. Then we're going to cut this burner. Let it, you know, let that needle, because it's going to fall when we open it. We're going to let that needle climb back up to 450, and then we're going to put our chickens on. So I'll see you then, buddy. All right, we see our grill is now up to 500 degrees. So we're going to go ahead and cut power to our right burner, keeping the heat on our left. We're going to lose a little bit of heat when we open it up and put the birds on. We're going to be putting them right here on this side where we just cut the fire off to. We're going to cook them around 450 degrees, adjusting this knob to keep that needle where we want it. We're going to cook them at about 450 for about 35 minutes, 45 minutes, basically until they reach an internal temperature at the breast and at the thigh of about 165 degrees. At that point, they are safe to eat. So we will check back in when we put them on the grill, and we're going to put them, this is important, glad you reminded me, we're going to put them skin side up when we put them on the grill. We want that skin to take on a little bit of crispiness. Alright, because it's so freaking cold out here, we haven't been able to really keep our indirect temperature up to about 400 degrees. So what we're going to do now is we've gotten our internal temp on these birds up to 150 degrees. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip them and put them over skin side down over the direct heat. What this is going to do is kind of crisp up our skin for us. We're only going to cook them like this for about 5 minutes. About 5 to 10 minutes, just get that extra 15 degrees we need on the internal temp, and then they're done. Yeah, our needle fell because I had it open so long, but that's alright. That's alright. Okay, so they're looking pretty good. Just about ready to come off. They've crisped up very nicely. We're going to go ahead and check their internal temperature. Yep. Well over the line. This one's kind of chubbier, so he's a little harder to get. Oh no, look at that. Look what I did. Well, that'll happen sometimes. Get away, fire. That'll happen sometimes, but that's alright. Let's check that. And it's getting up there, getting up there. There it is. Alright, cool. So, these are ready to come off the grill. Hopefully in one piece. Let's take them off, plate them, and we're going to let them rest for just a few minutes before they're ready to get served. That other thigh is about to drop right off of there. I mean, he came off, but he came off just about perfect. Look at that. Nice. Very nice. That's lunch tomorrow. Well, last thing to do is to give our grill a good brush down. And of course, we'll start our next video by giving it another brush down, so we don't have to get too excessive. I'm also going to do you a video, Matt, about cleaning this thing. Be sure to cut your gas off. There's a war on and all. So we're going to give these things a few minutes to rest, and then they'll be ready to eat. This is a really simple recipe. I mean, I just kind of threw together the seasoning, kind of eyeballed it, but you know, spatchcocking things like big chickens and Cornish game hens is a super easy way to cook them. Cuts your cooking time down and makes sure that they get cooked nice and evenly. So I hope you learned something, Matt, and I'll see you later.